Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Media Decoded podcast, the number one podcast to help you understand social media better so that you grow your business, get more clients, and monetize. So, today, I am so excited because we are talking to Elena and we are talking all about something that I think we should all know and learn, okay? How we can turn people from strangers into buyers in 45 minutes. In 45 minutes? Is it possible? Do you think you can do it? I'm excited to chat all about it. Thank you so much, Elena, for coming to the Social Media Decoded podcast. I'm excited to chat. How are you today?
I'm so well. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you get started with your business?
Yeah, of course. So yes, my name is Elena Daccus, and actually, I have a very different background. For the last 20 years, I have spent buying and selling companies in mergers and acquisitions. I have bought and sold over 50 companies worth over 10 billion US dollars, and really opened the leads to hundreds of businesses in the process. If anyone's familiar with the acquisitions and divestment processes, when you buy a company, you actually have to understand everyone in that niche to know how are they actually making money, what is scalable, what is profitable. I can maybe see some great Instagram photos and even private jets and some celebrity status and celebrities as the founders of those businesses, but actually when we open the books, when we get to see inside of the business what is actually working, what is successful companies had in common, and what is failed businesses missed to implement, is really what I've put inside my signature framework, which I'll be sharing with you today. And it really comes from those years of experience of working and consulting and advising top CEOs, and anything from small organization with just one or two employees, maybe an expert, an online business, a coach, to a large organizations. So this is really my background, and yeah, I just absolutely love what I do.
I love that. I love how you help so many people. I love your background. And this is why I always love to have so many different people on the show so that people can hear and see, because we also start a video podcast on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. But amazing people that are all over the world to inspire you that whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to start an online business, if you want to be an influencer, creative, whatever, you can do it. So excited. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So I want to get into this amazing thing we're going to talk about today, turning people from strangers to buyers. And so let's start out with, what are some of the key factors like when we're trying to convert strangers into buyers, and what do you teach your clients about that? And how is that done in 45 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really important, actually. I mean, the sales process, especially scalable sales process, is really down to kind of three key parts. And it's just three parts that so if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, so you really need to understand. So the first part is we need to attract your ideal target audience, especially if you're looking of course, I specialize in high ticket sales. So especially if you're looking for high ticket buyers, those buyers that are mature, that sophisticated, they're really committed to their own success. We need to attract them first. And then step two is really create this powerful demand inside your messaging ecosystem and your sales structures for them to realize that, wow, I need to solve my problem and I need to solve it now with this person's, with your unique solution, because they understand how you're perfectly uniquely positioned to sell what you're selling and why you're the perfect fit for them. That is effectively what we want, that demand creating a process to achieve. And by the end of it, when it's done powerfully, what happens is the people start asking to buy from you. What you will experience is, what a lot of my clients, of course, experience, people DMing them, they're asking to buy from them even before they were selling anything, even before they release the details of any of their programs. They're asking, right, I've seen you talk, I've heard you speak, it's really resonated with me, I feel connected, I know exactly you're the right person to tell me more about your programs. That's the kind of responses you start getting. And they're emailing and DMing you, asking what you have, how can they apply to work with you. That's what really a successful process looks like. And we can dive deeper in terms of what are the mistakes people make and how we can go about actually creating this system inside your business.
Oh, I love that. Yes, let's talk about the mistakes, because I think we don't build enough rapport with our potential customers first. So yes, let's dive into a few mistakes that you see
Yeah.
business owners making, and how can we not make these mistakes?
Absolutely. And just before we dive deeper into, I just want to highlight that I absolutely love what you do. And I think especially for your listeners, for your audience, like you really equip them with the ability to create an audience, to really improve their visibility on social media and use social media as a powerful tool for their audience expansion. So really, once they have that, what we're talking now is how do we take that step further and move those followers, move the engagement, move the online presence, and for them to actually become buyers, because we know, we all appreciate that follows are, that actually don't do very much for your business. It's the buyers that move the needle, because it's the buyers that are going to allow you to create the impact that I know so many of you listeners actually want to create, and why most people start their business. They're seeking for meaning, they're seeking for impact, and that's what I'm about to share is going to help you do that. So let's dive deep into the mistakes. So number one mistake that is especially affects a lot of outstanding experts, and it's kind of like a expert curse in a way. And the more experienced you are, the more impact driven you are, this mistake you'll be making. So one of the mistakes people make is they sell with information. They sell with information. And really what I mean by that is that and a lot of times people don't understand, they hear this advice, just add value and people will buy, and they misunderstand that. What they do is they pick the best parts of their course and they share all their best stuff for free inside their webinars, masterclasses, their Instagram lives, and they flood their audience with information, with steps. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you do this and I understand that. The reason why I understand that, because it makes perfect sense, because people are value driven, they're impact driven, they're seeking to help people, and they think, I want to show them how much of an expert I am, and if I show them how much I know, how much of an expert I am, they want to buy. But actually what we're seeing is the result is quite the opposite. Your audience, when they're hearing that, they feel overwhelmed, they feel extremely confused. And remember, especially for a lot of people listening, your clients are probably business owners, especially if you, maybe not everyone, but especially if you're working with entrepreneurs, business owners, people are overwhelmed. And even if or you're working with mothers are overwhelmed, or anyone who's in online space, we get bombarded with information, with content. We live in 2023, it's an overwhelmed society. We are fighting against the noise. So when you teach, share, shower people with information, that actually creates stress for them. And when the people feel stressed, overwhelmed, they're confused, and confused people do not buy. So that's number one mistakes. And it's totally understandable. And actually, if you think about it, the reason why information doesn't sell, if you look at best-selling books, is a great example of that. If you look at New York Times best-selling list, we don't see encyclopedia there, right? And actually all the best-selling books, they never share information, they never share tutorials, they never overwhelm us with data. They do something completely different. They move our perspective. They clarify things. They give us this, wow, this has blew my mind moment, aha moment, the mic drop moment that we call it. And that's what you need to do as well inside your business, inside your masterclasses, your speaking engagements, inside of your speaking process, and inside of your messaging ecosystem. So that's number one key.
That was a whole masterclass right there within itself. So I hope that everyone was taking notes, and because you just dropped so many amazing gems, and I hope that all of you picked it up. Make sure you tag me on Instagram at Michelle L. Thames. Let me know, what do you think about this episode? Are these some really good tips? And you said that, and I think that's so true. We share, give all this information, and I found myself doing that. And I'm like, I have to stop this. You will get the rest of this in the inside of my program. Like someone will ask something deeper on Instagram. I'm like, well, I can't really go deep to tell you why you should look at your analytics and like the things behind that, because then that's a whole teaching experience. But I'm giving you the tips and saying, hey, maybe what you're posting on Instagram is stale. Because I just posted this reel not too long ago. If you're listening to this, you probably know what reel I'm talking about. But I posted a reel and some people's comments were like, oh, well, I've heard people say, that I should look at my analytics, but what should I do? But the reality is, I really can't tell you about your analytics because it's different for everybody. I can only say, like, look, when I post these Canva reels, they do good. But what are the reels that you post that do good? I don't know, because I would have to physically look at your analytics and look at your like over time, the last 3 months, to see what you've posted and what the the consistency is. What is the identifier of these videos that keep going viral or the videos that get a lot of engagement? So it's really like that type of question. I can't go deep. Well, I mean, I could go deeper, but then it's like, no, I'm giving you everything. And that's like an hour call. We can get on a call, right?
Exactly. And you know that you're absolutely right. It's so powerful because, and also the danger. A lot of my people, my clients that come to me, they say, Elena, but I want to really share, I want to help people. But the reality is, when we do this kind of free information tutorials for free, what you actually do is you give people an impression that they can do it themselves. They have this false impression that actually they know enough to do it themselves. And reality is, especially I know for your business, people will like the transformation and the results they get by working closer with you in your intimate container is a huge difference. You know, you cannot summarize your expertise and your knowledge and your experience in a 50-second reel. Like, it is impossible. So that is the thing. So we have to just remember that actually, if we give people an impression that's 50 seconds is all they need, that's actually giving them a disservice. It gives them the wrong impression that they've got enough, where we know that actually they have a huge gap that they still need to meet. And that is really important. Another example actually of this is, I recently had this, I've broken my camera, my professional camera, and I was like, well, I want to fix this, right? I wonder whether I can do it in an easy way. So I was like, okay, let me ask Google for help. So I go in, I ask Google, how do I fix this? And there was a specific setting that wasn't showing up. And I've got this beautiful blog. It was one of the most straightforward blogs I have seen. They just said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and fixed. And I'm like, wow, I can do this. And I followed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it was fixed. And I was like, wow, this is so great. Thanks. Bye. At any point, did I want to go and say, hold on a second, let me get my debit card and buy your stuff? At any point did I say, oh, wow, let me buy your high ticket program or high ticket course? No. And that's what's happening with a lot of your audience when you do that, because they're like, oh, thank you. That was nice. That was so useful. That was so helpful. And they forget and they move on to something else. Their attention moved on to something else. So we have to fix that.
I 100% agree with everything that you said. Again, gems have been dropped. Of course, gems always get dropped here on the Social Media Decoder podcast. That should be a hashtag. Maybe I should or put it on a shirt or something. Would y'all like that on a shirt? Let me know. I'm thinking about some podcast merch, Let me know, y'all. I might do a poll on this on my Instagram.
Absolutely. And, another mistake that I'd love to mention, which is, I think is going to really be supportive to people, is another mistake I see so many amazing, really talented entrepreneurs do is we hear this advice, share the benefits of your program. Share the benefits of your program and now your features. And yes, but what happens is when you do that before you're connected to your audience, or you do it too early, it's actually really unhelpful. And it kind of, again, causes confusion. I give you a great example of that. I was in my doctor. So I go to my doctor quite regularly. He's kind of our family doctor. And I went for a regular checkups. We were having a chat. And then he's very like this exciting. He's very excitable, energetic guy. And I come into his office and he's like, Elena, I have this new amazing treatment. You're going to love it. It's this treatment against Lyme disease. And it has these benefits, like you're gonna feel amazing in the morning, your diet, your skin is gonna be glowing. And I'm sitting there, and he goes on and on and on about it. And I was like, but I don't have Lyme disease. So, and that's what a lot of experts do. They share their program. This is my program. This is my benefits. This is all the great stuff that's inside it. This is what you're going to get. But the audience is sitting there, but I don't think I have this problem to be solved. And that is key mistake. That is foundational.
Absolutely. Again, I hope you dropped all the one, two, and three gems of the three mistakes and you have put this, taking notes because this was a really good, this has been like a really good episode. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge on this because I think it's very important, again, like you said, for us to be really clear and for us to have some direction and bring the people off social media so that we can get them into our programs. But got to do that in a certain way. So, the next segment of the podcast, I really love to talk about books. So, were there any books or any resources that have helped you along your entrepreneur journey, or even some sales books or books for our listeners that can help them if they don't have the confidence to sell or do everything you just mentioned here today?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I think there's a lot of books actually. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, one of the things I find is I had a period of my life. I used to read a book every single week, like a book a week I was reading. And then eventually I decided, you know what, instead of reading another book, I'm actually not going to read another book before I have implemented what this book has just taught me. So my challenge would be maybe focus on something, one skill you want to develop, and go deeper rather than wider. So I know in the resources we're going to share my masterclass that going to go deeper into the messaging ecosystem, how to build this, how to create this 145-minute presentation that's going to really convert people from strangers to buyers. So that would be a great resource that I'd love people to be directed to because it summarizes so much knowledge in just one masterclass, which is 45 minutes. But a great book I love is an Blue Ocean Strategy, which I think every business owner need to read and really understand how do you carve your own space, your own place in the marketplace. So Blue Ocean Strategy. I love Magnetic Marketing. So many books. But yeah, I read a lot of things around personal development, Atomic Habits, of course, the classic, which is just so helpful. Great refresher sometimes to be actually, am I doing this? Am I thinking this? But yeah, but I love podcasts, which is why I love your podcast, which I think is a great resource for people to listen to. And I think podcast is just amazing because, of course, you can be in the conversation with very successful people. And, people say, right, you're the average of 6 people you hang out with. And I think podcast is an amazing place to hang out with very successful people.
Yes, shout out to podcasting. You have a podcast too, so make sure y'all check me out on Elena's podcast because we did a
Yes.
podcast swap, and I love podcast swap. So, like you said, yes, podcasts are amazing, and every book that you said, I think, is a great book. Atomic Habits, definitely one of everyone's faves. A lot of people who come on the podcast recommend that book. But yes, let us know, where can we find you online and more about your amazing resource. Where can they find that too? We would love to catch up with you. So, where do you hang out online?
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram, definitely on Instagram. My his place is Bossy Heels Club. I'm sure we'll leave it in the show notes. Bossy Heels Club. So DM me. You can DM me the word CEO, and I will send you a masterclass that we've just referred to, and you will get this powerful resource. But yeah, let me know any takeaways, any questions, any breakthrough moments that you had, and just tell me about this pod that you heard this on this podcast, and I'll be would love to kind of chat to you and respond to you and let you know what else could be supportive for you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. This has been a really good episode. It's packed with some juicy gems. You may have to go back and re listen, but we bring you all the good gems in a short amount of time. And that's what we'll keep giving you right here on the Social Media Decoded podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. And thank you so much, Elena, for coming on the show.
Thank you.